Hello everybody, I keep forgetting to say preparing stream beforehand, so I'm going to give a few seconds to give some time to shout out our patrons. Once again, I think this might be a running thing now that I keep forgetting to post this right before my videos, or at least the Best Boy videos. But I want to thank my fellow dorks, North Grizz, Andrew Corona, Nick Tanner, and Type A Roth, for being fellow dorks. And I want to give a very special thanks to my exclusive dorks, Fire Knight 2008. Thank you so much, patrons, for supporting me and helping me to do this with a relatively decent amount of side hustle, I guess I could say. Thank you for helping me make this kind of a side hustle. But anyway, back to me. All right. Hello everybody, I am Dirk the Red Panda, and this is the start of the Best Boy round of 64. We are opening the polls in 1 minute. We are starting at 1:50 Pacific Standard Time, and we'll be ending in 72 hours after the polls start. So 72 hours to vote, and to decide who will then move on to the sectional finals. So now we're in the big swing of things. This is the full-on first round and everything. This isn't a play-in now. We did our play-ins. It's all set. The 64 have been set. And we are just ready to kick off our matchups. But at least because there's so many matchups in the round of 64, we're only going to do the West half first. And once the West half ends for the first round, this poll will open. Speaking of polls opening, once we present the results for the West half of the bracket, we will then open up the round of 64 matchups for the other half of the bracket. And that will be the only time we split the round in half, just because there's so many matchups in the first round, and I don't want to overwhelm y'all with 32 matchups. I think just having 16 and 16 is better. Like, yeah, 16 may even be a lot, but at least that feels a little bit more manageable. Am I right? All right. So I'm going to go preview the matchups for you. We have 8 sections we get to preview because we're only doing the West half of the bracket. Otherwise, it'd be 16. All right, where is my image button? At the 3-minute mark, we will be previewing candidates. Or previewing the matchups, I apologize. And I cannot get into my own stream for some reason. No, I kid. There it is. At 3:30, I should be saying we are going to preview the candidates / matchups, whatever you like to call them. And I also just posted the poll to the description. So at 3:40, we're gonna start previewing the candidates. I swear, we're gonna start. Life is just too chaotic. But yeah, so now it's gonna be like last year where everything's normal again. Round of 64, round of 32, Sweet 16, etc., etc.
This is what it sounds like on the top of a
This is what it sounds like when I preview the candidates and matchups. Apologies for the commercials that come in. I don't use Spotify Premium, so I try and mute all the commercials just so I don't get like any claims or copyrights or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, where was I? Yes. The first matchups. Best Boy. Results. West. We are going to go to our first section, which we are previewing here. Alright, so this is our first official matchup of the round of 64. We have our number 1 seeded, number 1 overall, based on votes and all, Neferu from Adastra / Chemia. So Neferu, he is the son of the Chemian Emperor, but he is not in line for emperorship or pharaohship, whatever the kingship-like title is. He is still a political ambassador for his people, and so he does his best to mend those relations in one way or another. I'll let you all figure out what I mean by that. But let's just say we have a good love for him. He stands out for us. He tries to protect us. And speaking of protection, our lowest seed, but somehow one of our more up-and-coming characters, Benson from Password, is also a protective figure in that he is the butler slash servant for the Hammond Manor. But don't let the age fool you. He's got quite the kick to him, literally and in some ways figuratively. He's very well trained in his combat skills and weaponry, so he is quite the good protector in that sense. While the Pharaoh may be more hands-on with his protection and standing up for his characters, standing up for his fellow peoples. Yeah, he is more in verbal and in hands-on type of protection. Benson can be more of a weaponry type or combat type of protective. He has done a good job so far with protecting our main characters and whatnot in the Hammond Manor. And you'll have to play the VN to find out what happens with them and all as the days go on, because lots of shenanigans will ensue. So, yeah, let the hardest choices commence. I thought you were gonna say lots of hard choices, which I can feel with this. Best boys are hard, man. I mean, at least from having to pick them, because so many cuts were just hard for me. Broke my heart. But nonetheless, that is the first matchup, Neferu versus Benson. The other half of the Section 1, the winner of Neferu-Benson matchup, will face the winner of this matchup in the 33rd seed. From Afterclass, the coach of the collegiate basketball team, trying to get our MC to join, and has also had a past with being his former high school PE coach. It is Coach Gill, like I said, from Afterclass. So, he's got his charisma to him, to say the least, and way with kind of nudging the MC on, but we could see why we stand him in some ways or not. He's got that kind of guardian sense where he's looking out for our best ways in terms of maybe physicality. But speaking of physicality and more age and wisdom, our other opponent of this matchup, Coach Gill, will be facing off against Vither from Far Beyond the World, our pastry maker and previously fighting warrior, knight, whatever fighting combat positions they call it. He was one to go out and fight for the Avalon tribe and all that stuff. Yeah. He is more new to the VN, but at the same time, he's got a way of being a very softer, like, kinder personality to him, but will still manage to put in his kick and sass when need be. So they both have their kind of little snarky ways at times. I forgot to say they kind of can be, I guess, maybe not too sassy, but more so of a kind of cheeky. They can both be very cheeky characters. So that is going to be an interesting matchup because let's just say 3 of the 4 are very explicitly cheeky, while Benson, he just has straight up sass to him, and he won't take any of yours. This is interesting. I've never seen such an interesting Section 1 matchup where I know all the characters this well and feel like I really genuinely have to think about it. So, Section 1 is going to be quite interesting. We're going to move down yonder to Section 16. as I click my image window, we go down to section 16. All right, so in the left-handed side of our matchups, our left-hand corner of the matchup, in the 17th seed from Tennessee, our piano, what's the word called? Our piano savant, our lovely, bubbly tiger character, loves his video games. Would he be likely to say poggers? I'll let you decide. It is June from Tennessee. So June is going to be going off against our 48th seed, which I unfortunately am just trying to make sure I get the names right because there are lots of hyena folk in this Temptations Ballad VN. So June will be going off against a Temptations Ballad character in the 48th seed. It is Cole. He is the bard-looking type. I'm assuming that is a leer of some sorts, a liar. I'm still sucking at D&D, so I still suck at D&D terminology. But yes, our bard. So they both are musical. I just realized that. They both are musicians. Oh my gosh, they're both the musician type. Ah, this is gonna be interesting then. Who will out music the other? So yes, Cole from Temptations Ballad versus June from Tennessee is our left-hand matchup. And the other half of section 16, in the left-hand corner, also from Temptations Ballad, it is Hamish. Not too much that I know about him other than he seems to be the combative type. I think he goes off against, I don't know, does he fight Artemai in some sort? I'm not sure. Those are just rumors that I'm hearing, but I know that he is our definite combat type. But moving on from combative, we have our opponent of Hamish. He is our gardening type. He is the planter in a sense. He is one who has a way with making puns with seeds. Quite the innuendo man himself. It is Dean from Password. So we have Dean versus Hamish as the other half of section 16. So we seem to have our more bubbly looking, more innocent characters in the left half, and our more cheeky and innuendo-y type in the right-hand side. I'm not too sure how much Hamish would go for like innuendos or whatnot, but at least he seems like somebody that would be cheeky in one way or another. Dean we definitely know about because I played Password a lot. I play his route on my channel. Yeah, it's nice to recognize all the characters. It's great. It's also cool though to see the other characters that people really like, just to kind of get a feel for what's big, what's trending in the VN community. So I don't hate on the characters I don't know, so it's just great to see these characters. You love to see it. But anyway, we move on to the next section. We are 1/4 of the way through all our sections. Image, there we are. We move on to section 9. Section 9, we got another matchup here. We got in the left-hand corner, the 9th seeded MC from Socially Awkward. It is Jace, our dork of a goofball, just somebody who always has the most creative of imaginations, I'll say. Let me just say that his mind will veer into very interesting scenarios. So if you know Jace, you know. You just know. That's all I have to say. Jace is just interesting. He also is a kind of a landlord. He's like son of a landlord, I think. So he has to do like landlord work for his parents, I think. But besides that, Jace will be facing off against our magic smarts, our kind of more book smarts type of character from Password. He is one of our childhood friends, but also can be one that will be sure to piss off the owner of the Hammond Manor a good amount of times, which we love to see. It is Roswell from Password. So Jace versus Roswell. This is gonna be interesting for me because both have their likable traits, both have their face palming traits, which you're just like, why? Oh boy. Moving on to the other half of Section 9. We have, I'm not sure exactly what our first candidate is. I know that our other one is a hare, the one on the right side of the match. But in the left-hand corner, he's some sort of bunny, rabbit, hare type. I have not played Repeat enough to fully clarify this. It is Sissel, our kind of a rougher on the edges looking character, but he can be somebody that can definitely win you over. He definitely isn't somebody that comes from money. However, our candidate that he is facing off against does technically come from money. You'll find out more if you play Tennis Ace and my Case K route. That, not that I made it, that I play, I mean, sorry. Basket is the creator of Tennis Ace. But speaking of Tennis Ace, he is the son of the Urushihara Company's CEO. He is the heir to the Urushihara Company, the tech whiz in a sense. He is also quite musical. He's quite good on the guitar. He's quite the athlete when it comes to tennis. He's got quite the work ethic and hustle for it. He may be down to earth in many ways with, you know, he's not letting the money get to him, but at the same time, he also sometimes struggles with the day-to-day things that our normal human citizens face off against. Or, well, normal anthro citizens. But it is Case K from Tennis Ace. Sissel and Case K, both bunny, hare, rabbit types. I can't confirm. Yes, he's a bunny. So bunny versus hare, because Saya is a bunny, which Saya and Case K are also tight in terms of friendship. But yeah, we got the battle of the bunny and the hare. This is going to be interesting to see. But I don't want to spoil anything about Case K's background, but if you know, Case K may have a little more in common with Sissel than you would think in terms of background. But yeah, March Madness isn't explicitly about being a good person, but it can be whatever you want. Exactly. This is a very subjective kind of who do you gravitate towards the most type of thing. And you can judge that based on whatever factors you have. Looks, character development, just overall dialogue and decisions they make. It's all up to y'all. So, yes. We got our somewhat clumsy characters on the left-hand side of the bracket. Roswell can be relatively clumsy at times, I guess, maybe in terms of tact. Jace maybe in a similar way. But our somewhat clumsy characters are gonna be facing off the winners of the bunny match, I guess I could say. The bunny hair match. Yes. They both have white on, in a sense. They both like wearing white tops of clothing. But even though that is not his favorite color, Case K's favorite color is purple, fun fact. But anyway, that concludes Section 9. The winner of that will face the winner of Section 8, in a sense. So that's why I'm going in this weird zigzag order. But I am moving down to Section 8. Section 8 consists of another password character and another repeat character. Interesting to see. And another socially awkward character are all in the same section. It's all rigged. No, I kid. But anyway, we go to the left-hand match. We go to the left-hand side of the left-hand match. In the 25th seed, our weeb in a sense, our anime-loving lion. He is quite the actor too, supposedly. Tried to kickstart his acting career. It is Haas from Password. And he will be going off against the 20th seeded... Oh, not 20th, 40th, I apologize. Our 40th seeded Owen from Repeat. He is also, in a sense, like Case K, where he comes from wealth, but also has his kind of interesting relations with family. Tries to not let it get to him, in a sense. Both of them, I can say that, even though I haven't played enough Repeat to fully confirm that. But based on what I can go off of, Owen seems like a good enough down-to-earth type. Even though he can kind of be like Dean in a sense, where he can be that cheeky type. Haas, maybe not as much. He can be. He's just anime boy. He is very anime boy. And I love the shirt that he has for this. He has a different shirt, like a tie-dye type of shirt. But I don't like that as much as this shirt. This shirt is just, I like it. I like it on him. So that's why I chose it. That's why I chose it for the kind of his thumbnail preview kind of candidate photo. So, Owen and Haas. Both can really play into a role if they want to. But who will they face off? Well, we go to the right-hand side of Section 8. In the left-hand corner of the right side matchup. In the 57th seed. He is also supposedly one with money. He is also a classy wolf, supposedly, from what I've heard. I do not have too much personal experience with this character. It is Rask from Socially Awkward. And he will be facing off against the 8th seeded Smoke Room Sheriff, the Sheriff of Echo. Quite the toughie, but also quite the lovely lad, if you get to know him. It is William from the Smoke Room. I don't really remember you too well, Shiro, unfortunately. Maybe? I don't know. Sorry. Anyway. Yes, it could be a popular contest in a sense, but yes, we have our sheriff going off against our well-off wolf boy. Both canines. It's Battle of the Canines versus Battle of the Actors, in a sense. I don't know exactly how Owen acts, or what type of, if he's like an actor type. He gives me actor vibes, though, with that fancy outfit of his. But yes. Haas is not one to be that formal. He will be talking about waifus all day, if we go to our best girl bracket. But yes, this is our Section 8. We move on down to Section 5. One half of the West half bracket is done. But to kick off Section 5, in the 5th seed from far beyond the world, our brave, courageous, and very intimidating Wolfo over here. He is Volgor from far beyond the world. Volgor is definitely somebody that nobody wants to mess with and is very logic-based and very kind of straightforward in his thinking and ways of acting. He does not try to fluff things up, even though he has the fluffy shoulders. But yeah, he is definitely not the bubbly looking type, as opposed to our more outwardly bubbly looking type. I know this character can be pessimistic at times, just like Volgor, but Volgor's opponent, the 60th seeded Philip from Repeat, can come off as very cheerful looking on the outside, but also have a dark inside in terms of what their past is and what they talk about. I do not know exactly what that past is because I have not played the game in full. But yes, both can be very cynical characters if need be. So that is Philip and that is Volgor. That is the left hand of the Section 5. Moving on to the right-hand side. The left-hand corner of the right matchup. 37th seeded from Echo, descendant of the Hendricks estate. It is Carl from Echo. So Carl, quite the lax dude in personality. Not too much motivation in that he kind of comes from money and doesn't feel like he has that. But in terms of purpose, bet he'll still try to be the relative voice of reason in Echo as things commence. But speaking of Echo, he is facing off against another Echo universe character. This one from the smoke room. This is the the male prostitute. He is our lovely lad, I would say. Like, he has his way with a lot of the guys in Echo in 1915. He is kind of part of that same bar / tavern that Cynthia works in. It is Samuel from the smoke room. This is our other Samuel. We have 2 Samuels in the bracket. Don't get them twisted. That's why I have to do the parentheses of Samuel from this, Samuel from that, or for all the characters. I don't want to have characters get confused with each other if they have the same name. But yeah. That is our matchup for the other hand of Section 5. So all our characters can be cynical in their own ways. Our underdogs can come off as lighthearted, but still be cynical on the inside. Meanwhile, our top hand contenders, our favorites, definitely have a clear sense of cynicism to them and jadedness. I'll let you all decide who you think are the winners of that. Really subtle indeed. I am so subtle. But yes, Rannoch to talking with Billy Bob Joe. Yes, Rannoch is 2nd seeded, so he won't appear until the second half of our first round matchups. So he's not appearing in this current poll, but the next one. Anyway, the winner of Section 5 will face off the winner of Section 12. So we move on to Section 12 as we hit the 3/4 mark of our first round matchups of the last half bracket. Everything's divided. But moving on to Section 12, we got some tough matchups. Personally, I know all these characters well. My voice is cracking. I know all these characters well, and I feel like this, in my opinion, is going to be the toughest section of all of them. And that's not just because I think, there's a clear favorite with any of them. I just feel like genuinely all of them are just going to be tough to choose from with their matchups. In the left-hand matchup, in the left-hand side, 21st seeded Senpai Shuchi from Nekajishi. He is one of our dancing partners and is quite good friends with the MC. And yes, has his ways with the MC and personality. Can be quite the cheeky bastard too. But Senpai or Shuchi will be facing off against the also potential Emperor-to-be of Adastra in the 44th seed. He is the younger brother of Amicus. He is quite the politician. He is quite the person to try and get some progressive movements going, and also some conservative ones depending on what the game entails from it. He has some good politics, some bad in my opinion, but he is definitely one that tries to look out for the people. It is Cassius from Adastra / Gemia. But as I move on from that left-handed matchup, we move on to the right-hand matchup. In the left-hand corner of that matchup, he is the keeper, technically the keeper, I think. He's kind of the servant of the people who manage the hotel, but he is one of the people that helps out with the Minotaur Hotel. He is the main person that does it, actually, because it is his kind of haven in a sense. It is his place he has to be forever. It is Asterion from Minotaur Hotel. He is quite the helpful lad and is very down to earth and just so wholesome. I'm not sure how much our opponent of Asterion is in terms of wholesomeness, but he is quite a lovable guy in a sense. He is the 12th seeded Tom from Socially Awkward. Tom, I would say, is just, he's the cool guy. He is cool. I just, yeah, he's got the style to him, he's got the swagger to him, he's got it all. That's all I can really say about Tom in that matter. And Asterion, I had just started playing Minotaur Hotel, so once again, not the greatest background in terms of things, other than he is part of the whole Minotaur Hotel kind of thing and kind of is one of the main keepers of it. But that one's gonna be a really tough matchup for me too. The left-hand matchup is gonna be tough for me for different reasons. The right-hand matchup is just gonna be tough because I love both of them just a lot. I can't really explain why I like both of them so much. They're both newer characters to me, but they both have just good character to them. So this is gonna be a tough matchup in my opinion and who I choose afterwards. But I'll let you all decide with this one. I just think that these matches can really swing either way. Really depends on who stands who and who people feel is the better of the best boys of each matchup. But moving on from section 12, we go down to the remaining corner. We have 2 more sections to go. We go down to section 13. Now in section 13, we have some big boys and one medium boy. In the left-hand matchup, in the left-hand corner, he is a miner. Not that kind. He is a mining badger. He is part of like the mining company, like works for the mining company of Echo. He is quite the gentle giant. We love him for it, but he will not back down from a fight if he needs to. He will be brave and bold in that way. But gosh, he's such a sweet giant. It is Nikolai from the smoke room. And he will be facing off against our MC from Repeat. It is Yuka.
Smirnoff number 21 is...
It is crazy to think that we got our MC from Repeat, which I personally do not know much about, unfortunately, but seems to be a good developed character in that Repeat tends to have pretty, well, likable characters. But once again, I haven't played enough of Repeat, so chat, describe him for me. Sorry, but I have enough depth on Nikolai to explain that, yeah, he can be soft on the inside and very caring for those he loves, but still be relatively jaded on the outside and brave and tough enough to those on the outside to appear as the big man. Definitely by far the biggest character of Echo, just in terms of like overall size. And we love him for it. More hugs. But the winner of that match will face the winner of our right-handed match. In the left-hand corner of the right-hand match, the 45th seed, our representative from After Years, it is Rowley. And he will be going off against the 20th seeded tennis man, one of the better tennis players on the team, and also has an interesting side hustle. It is Spencer from Extracurricular Activities. Now, once again, I have a similar situation where I only know one of them better than the other, but I can totally understand why people would like the other. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much on that regard, so turning on the music again, sorry. But yeah, that's just how it be sometimes. I'll let y'all decide on who is the better man of both matches. Both matches, I can't speak. I am hungry and I need to make food after this. I'm probably gonna play more Minotaur Hotel when I get once I play Password. I need to play Passwords update and maybe another update for another VN that I need to just check if like any of my other typical VNs have updated. But yeah, at least after Password, I'll be playing Minotaur Hotel. So I'm assuming the MC from Repeat is kind of similar to Yuichi, the MC from Tennis Ace in that matter, and that they both are kind of clumsy in that sense, or naive. So yeah, I guess that gives a good expression for Yuka, the MC from Repeat. But we move on to the final section of the round of 64 west end of the bracket. We go down to section 4. This one is interesting because somebody was mentioning it earlier. In the left-handed matchup, in the left corner, the 29th seeded, he is from Batavia. He is our academic scholar trying to study the kind of the native tribes within the Echo area, which I am totally blanking on. I used to remember the name for it, but I do not. Fortunately, but he is interested in that Echo culture around there and just the wild, wild west in a sense. He is kind of like our foreign transfer student in a sense, and how he kind of is the outsider in this story. But he is still quite lovable, even though he can be dorky in his own ways, but we love him for it. It is Cliff from the Smoke Room. And Cliff will be facing off against another, technically, foreign opponent that moved to Echo in later years. Or, well, he grew up in Echo, but, you know, wasn't born in Echo initially. But yes, our Hispanic wolfo, who loves to call Chase Chula. He's got the anchor. He sure loves committing to making sure his friends stick together and stick together for the best. It is Leo from Echo. So another tough matchup, because a lot of people love Leo, a lot of people love Cliff. There are stands for both of these characters, and oh boy, this one's gonna be really tough. I don't really have much else to say other than that. So I'm not gonna say too much, otherwise I'll get into spoilers on how I feel about these characters. But yeah, both have lovable things about them, but sometimes can also be infuriating. But moving on, the winner of that match will face the winner of this right-hand match. In the left-hand corner of the right-hand match, in the 61st seed, the highest seed from our first 4 winners. He was in the first 4 matchup against Brymore from Identity, and he's also from Repeat. So this is Samuel from Repeat. He is, I think, kind of a servant type too, butler, I think, kind of similar with Benson. Ironic that they both won in the first 4, but yeah, he's also a little bit more jaded in appearance than Benson would appear, so he seems to be more tough looking on the outside, and I'm assuming he's got some combat background to him. But in a sense, speaking of combat, Samuel's opponent also has a good sense of combat, but also a good sense in magic, since he is one of the gods in his world. From Nekajishi, he is somebody that helps protect the MC's temple, and is also trying to get the MC to help with their hometown temple. It is the Guardian Tiger, Lin Hu from Nekajishi, in the 4th seed. So, I don't have too much to say about either of these characters. I don't have the best description about Lin Hu or Samuel, so I'll let that kind of fizzle out for itself. But yeah, Leo, it's just, yeah, I could go very back and forth with Leo and thoughts about him and just how he approaches things. Meanwhile, with Cliff, he can be very soft on the outside, but sometimes just can push over too much or just really get on people's nerves too much. It's like sometimes he just is too naive for his own goodwill. So those are the pros and cons of these characters. And that is probably where I'm going to conclude this video. I'm getting really hungry and am done with our round of 64 preview matches. Or well, these are the matches that are happening now, but I'm just previewing them. But that's the end of our previews. So you can vote, either the link's in the description, it is in the description, and also in the chat way earlier in the chat box. But yeah, those are gonna be the matches in this poll. Results will come on Sunday afternoon, and I will be sure to present them in very welcoming fashion. It's going to be a long one, to say the least, because 16 matches, oh boy. A lot of results to uncover. But anyway, that is all I have to say for this video, so I'm going to end this here and log off relatively quickly. I apologize for the quick log off. I just am hungry. I am very hungry and want food. But yes, that is all I got for this video. Stay tuned for the Sunday results. And until next time, take care, guys.